Hello and welcome to Express Sports Podcast. You're listening to Bhargava Trophy Special and the inevitable has finally happened this morning. काफी एक set in stone सा ही actually match situation था from the day 2 अगर जो हम देखना चाहे तो then against hope I think many of us hoped and prayed that India would somehow salvage the situation, salvage a draw from an impossible situation they found in themselves at various stages in this match. But it wasn't to be. Australia won by 184 runs to go 2-1 up, heading into the final Bhargava Trophy test in Sydney in 3 days' time. We have Vinayakk with us as always. Pratyush Raj has joined us. He has quite a few things to say, I'd imagine. But before we go to Vinayakk and Pratyush, it's apt that our man on ground in Melbourne, Sriram Veera, sets up what has been a fascinating test, all said and done. So here's to Veera, and then we come to Vinayakk and Pratyush.
Hello, listeners. What an unbelievable, thrilling, dramatic end to the test match. We went to the last session, and when it started, India still had 7 wickets. The win was out of the equation by then. And Australia did a very, very smart thing. They were bowling Travis Head just before that, because Indians were looking like the draw could be done. And so the tempter to pull Rishabh Pant out of that zone was Travis Head. Pat Cummins played that card. Pant held himself before tea, and just after tea, in fact, before tea, he was even telling Jaiswal, even after tea, he was telling Jaiswal to calm down when there was a couple of play and misses some Jaiswal was doing, with Sam Constance at Silly Point talking a lot. So Pant had asked his partner to calm down, and then when he went to face, it was a short, not quite long hop, not a great ball, just the ball that would have dragged Pant instinctively out of this mindset to play properly. And he went for it. He tried to turn it wide off long on, but he couldn't. There was a shot that he had played similarly before, and it had fallen short, and then this time was gone. Once that happened, you knew that India is going to be in strife. But still, it was Jadeja and Nitish Reddy. And then they were both succumbed to two very good balls. Scott Boland, the cult hero in MCG, the great debut for Nuremberg in Ashes in 2021 when he took 6 for 7 wickets, banged on back of London. That kick that sharply hit to a bit of gloves from Jadeja, and he fell. And then there was this wonderful straighter one from Lyon, and just completely opened up Nitish Reddy. And one after that, it was just, going to be, you knew what was coming. Washington Sundar played really, really well. But still, of course, there was Jaiswal and Reddy. That moment, and Jaiswal got out playing a pull to a ball on the leg side. He was getting a bit edgy with fielders all around him. That was a phase to get through. As Rohit would say later, naye ladke hain. Names were not taken, but just naye ladke hain, seekhenge how to go about it. That pull shot probably would regret. There was a bit of a hue and cry about Sneeko and Ultra Edge and all that, but he did hit it. And similarly with Akashdeep, again some hue and cry, but again he did hit it. So both fell, and then once Jaiswal fell, I think writing was on the wall. Rohit made an interesting observation about Rishabh Pant, saying that as a captain, sometimes it's very difficult to have a conversation with somebody like Pant, not because of any personal thing, but just that he is successful with this method. And in the past, he has been won matches for India. But he said that Pant himself has to decide how to play the situation, when to go for it, when not to go for it. It's a fine line, but that's how, he needs to make that decision. He needs to understand what is required of him and personally. So that's a pretty key, valid, interesting point that he's made about Pant. So, also this wonderful test has come to a dramatic, and just as we had thought for a while, I think India will be disappointed that he couldn't get out with a draw from this one, because the draw was certainly possible. Just 2 hours to go at the final session when they started to crumble. So that will sting them, but BGT is still alive. Remember, all India need to is to level the series. So if they win at Sydney, Bhargava Trophy remains with India. So all to play for with just 3 days' time. Join us for then.
So that was Sriram Veera, fairly I think upbeat. Maybe it's just the buzz of being on ground. But Vinayakk, Pratyush, for many of us in India who woke up at 4:30 for the last 4-5 days, it was in a way expected and also frustrating when Rishabh Pant went for that shot and was caught out in the deep. I mean, the school of thought here is actually quite split, I'm assuming. There'll be, like Rohit Sharma said in his post-match press conference, it's tough as a captain to have a conversation with him on this topic because he's had success in the past. But Vinayakk, we talk about match situations, and it wasn't stupid like first innings, but it was, well, frustrating.
Yeah, we spoke about that in the earlier podcast, and I didn't defend it, but I could understand. I mean, I could not tell Rishabh Pant that he shouldn't be playing that shot, although that was a very low percentage shot and clearly wrong decision in the end. I'm actually a little more frustrated today than I was with the first innings shot. We haven't seen a stupid reaction yet from Sunny G, but it was indeed, I think, the game turning moment. I think credit to him, he hung around with Yashasvi Jaiswal in the second session. A full session without a wicket being lost felt like we were watching a different match suddenly. And then came that horrific moment, actually, to take on Travis Head when clearly Australia were maybe 30 more minutes in the match and even they wouldn't be thinking about forcing a win. Probably. I mean, just a guess. Travis Head was bowling after tea. I could understand before tea, but after tea, and Cummins later quipped that it was because they were behind on the over rate, so they wanted to get a few overs in. And even Travis Head was joking around saying, I was the guy to take out Pant and, things like that. But it was, like, jokes apart, all honesty, that shot was not on. Two fielders in the deep again, short ball, big ground, big boundaries, match situation demanding that you stay there with Jaiswal till the end. Absolutely no point in going for a big six because the win was not on. This was not Gaba where India had a sniff in the third session and Pant played that beautiful innings. So that shot just was not on at that point of time. There's no upside to it. That is my biggest issue. You're not gaining absolutely anything by playing that shot, even if it went for a six. There is no upside to that shot, which is why I think it's a little more frustrating than the first innings dismissal for me, at least.
Pratyush, if we have to zoom out a little bit, I mean, as frustrating Pant dismissal and I guess the most decisive point given the match situation it was. But yeah, matlab jaise hi day 2 आधा हो गया था, we knew which direction this test was going in, isn't it? So, I mean, overall अगर जो sum up करना है, India had their chances, but capitalized नहीं कर पाए, and वहीं पर I think सारी चीजें खत्म हो गई थी. It wasn't, I think, lost in the final session of the day 5 is what I feel.
Absolutely right, Mihir bhai. After this test match, especially in the last 7 tests, the only good thing happened was Perth. So for me, मुझे कूप चाहिए उस ड्रेसिंग रूम में, खास करके. There should be a hostile takeover of captaincy.
मदन चोपड़ा बाजीगर वाला.
हाँ, we need to kick out like year-ender, जैसा we are doing year-ender for past 1 week. We need to kick out those 2 big fishes for the Sydney test. So Rohit Sharma reminds me of Ned Stark. We all loved him in season 1, but honestly, he was out of his depth in King's Landing. King's Landing matlab in test captaincy. Rohit, as a white ball, is amazing captain, great leader. He led from the front in the ODI. He won the T20 World Cup. But in test cricket, I always somehow felt that he was out of his depth. Like, for the starters, he was never ready for the captaincy. वो ऐसा लगा कि उसको दे दिया गया. Yes, he won 4-1 against the Bass bowlers and all. But since that Bangalore first test where he opted to bat, his decision making has been everywhere. Like, it's so bad. Then each press conference after press conference he cracks those jokes. Now he has thrown the youngsters under the bus. नए लड़के हैं सीख जाएंगे. अरे पुराने कब सीखेंगे भाई साहब? I mean, I don't know. Is he good enough? I mean, is his place, because to put him, to accommodate him, he'll have to be dropped Subman Gill, right? I mean, I'm not saying Gill was in great form and all, but to dropping a youngster to accommodate a senior, I mean, that's like, we have not expecting from a selfless captain, right?
But Pratyush bhai, like, ये जो point है, I mean, if I were to play devil's advocate, तो ये प्रथा तो मतलब सदियों से चलते आ रही है, where a young player is often sacrificed for a senior player. I found it very interesting. If I'm not wrong, the audio wasn't that great of the press conference of the people asking questions. It was Veera bhai himself, I think, asked the question of Shubman Gill at the press conference. And I found that question a little interesting, and the answer even more, because Vinayakk, Pratyush, is it possible in a real world for a captain to drop himself?
Well, I mean, that's how Rohit became the captain in the first place, right? IPL mein. when Ricky Ponting dropped himself and made Rohit the captain. So life could come full circle
10 years ago, MS Dhoni retired at the same venue.
on this day.
On this day. So, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि ऐसा नहीं हुआ है.
See, honestly, I mean, I get Pratyush's sentiment, but yeah, I'm not sure if the team is going in. Like, practically, I'm not sure if the team is going to kick out Rohit and Kohli. Probably is their decision. Like, one point that I would like to make here is we shouldn't make the mistake of clubbing Rohit and Kohli together. When we talk about Test cricket and retirement and where do they go, I honestly think Kohli has batted all right in Melbourne and made two stupid mistakes once again. The mistakes that we have make those who have hair, them pull it out, not me. But yeah, it keeps making those same mistakes, but otherwise he's batting okay. But with Rohit Sharma, the case is different. He's just not looked, I mean, people are saying today he looked okay for 40 balls when he made those 9 runs. I mean, come on, yaar. He was just like dead batting everything. He didn't play.
Yeah. It's not Bumrah we are talking about, right, as a batsman.
Right. I mean, Boland played 50 balls yesterday, right? I mean, so have some sort of sense there. He was just dead batting when he looked okay. Not like he was playing any. The first real shot that he played, he got out, right? And his hand-eye coordination is gone. Feet are not moving. His strength was always his timing. His timing is not there. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, if you're dropping Shubman Gill for Rohit Sharma, there is no cricketing sense to that. We already spoke about it. But will it result in them, like either of them not playing? I don't know. Like in an ideal world, like if I have to think of a utopia, it'll probably be Rohit Sharma stepping aside himself and the selectors taking the call on Kohli saying, bye, step aside for a while, go play domestic cricket or county cricket if you want. Maybe logistically that makes more sense. Wink, wink.
हाँ, लंदन में घर तो है ही.
कहाँ यार, come on. I mean, एक हार्दिक पांड्या को you forced to play, but I mean, उसमें नहीं जाते. I mean, I think we are almost all but out from WTC cycle, right? मतलब फाइनल के लिए. I mean, Australia have 3 tests, Sydney and then 2 in Sri Lanka. तो टाइम की हाँ ठीक है, you play Sydney. I lost the office bet 3-1 हो जाएगा, but I predicted 4-1. वो अलग बात है, बट हाँ लाइक ठीक है, इनका हो जाना चाहिए. They'll have to transition. The problem with this current setup is कि यहाँ transition नहीं होता. But if you remember in 2011-12 when the big names were dropped, it took us 3 years, right? Pujara or Rahane or Kohli even himself to establish in that middle order. We had a very good opener जिसके बारे में we don't talk enough, Murli Vijay, right? I mean, those 4 players were the keys. तो अभी अगर ट्रांजिशन पे वी हैव अ सॉलिड लाइक वी हैव वेरी गुड ओपनर यशस्वी जायसवाल. आई मीन वी नीड टू डिसाइड विद केएल राहुल. आई मीन आई फील समटाइम्स बैड फॉर हिम, केएल राहुल के लिए, मतलब कि यू हैव टू फील. मैं बहुत बड़ा क्रिटिक हूँ, आई ऑलवेज सेड दैट कि बैटिंग फॉर्म इज लाइक एवरीवन गर्ल्स, सभी बोलते हैं लाइक कि हिज बैटिंग इज लाइक बेंगलुरु वेदर, बट मुझे लगता है इट्स मोर ऑफ बेंगलुरु ट्रैफिक. It's frustrating. Abhi, but you need to stick with him. Give him a 2 years. कि boss, you are the senior most guy. आप open करो यशस्वी के साथ. Then put Gill at 3 and make sure Dhruv Jurel play as a batter. Like that's a different. I mean, once Kohli को आप ये करो, side करो, जो भी करो. Next in cycle, play Jurel at 4 and then Pant followed by 2 all-rounders, Washi and Reddy, and then find an off spinner or a left-arm spinner. Because I can't see Jadeja also. I mean, ठीक है, Jadeja played a very good knock at Brisbane, but he's not reliable with the bat. Jadeja at number 6, I don't think so. मतलब maybe in Australia has a very good average, but जहाँ ball seam करेगा या spin करेगा, we have seen that against New Zealand in the home series या England में. Jadeja का मतलब I don't think. Play him as a sole spinner number 8 पे.
If we come back to this test again and change of personnel, it will be interesting to see what the team decides in the next 3 days और किसे खिलाते हैं सिडनी में. But where to even begin the postmortem, right? इसमें like fielding अगर जो हम apples to apples compare करें तो Australia were far more energetic, far more sharp. They didn't drop catches for whatever it's worth, and if they had a bad day in the field, if anyone had a bad day in field, the captain, at least the body language wasn't all that negative towards the player who committed a mistake. Fielding is where India was second best. Bowling, well, second innings, India were at an ideal position when they had half of Australia staying down under 100 runs. Vinayakk, what was the moment that you felt where India actually gave away the match? For me, it was that 91 for 6 or whatever, and wahan se they allowed them to score another 150 runs. That was a problem for me.
I have no doubt in my mind that India lost the match because of that 20 minutes on day 2. Absolutely certain that you don't lose a test match because of 10 minutes or because of 2 things or 1 thing. it's always a combination of factors. So, it was not just the Yashasvi Jaiswal drops. It was not just today's Rishabh Pant shot. It was not just Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli getting out early. But the most, if you make a pie chart out of it, and I think that 20 minutes will take 3/4 of that pie.
But also, now that you mentioned, right, every day there was a moment where India let the advantage slip.
Yeah, they had, like Rohit said, they had opportunities in this match.
Even in the fielding, Mihir, you remove those 3 catches, India was very good. Fielding काफी अच्छी थी in the second inning when Australia were batting till 91 for 6. And after that partnership, and maybe our captain, he lost out of ideas and whatever happened. ठीक catches win matches is the thing, but ground fielding काफी अच्छी थी. वो easy runs नहीं दे रहे. That's what generally जो होता है.
No, I agree. Yeah, the fielding actually I thought was better in the second innings than the first. First, I wasn't body language, especially I think day 2 at the start when Cummins and Smith were playing, it wasn't too great. But anyway, so like I said, there is small factors, and if you plot the chart, it's that 20 minutes where Jaiswal and Kohli got run out. The thing is, so Jaiswal was looking so good for a century. And when he scores a century, we know, right? I think his lowest century plus score is 160. You know that it's going to be a big innings. And that's like a big chunk of what India could have scored, taken out because of one moment of madness. And then Kohli doing what he did, and then that whole night watchman thing. Nitish and Washington saved India a little bit. It made the match a little closer, that Nitish Kumar's century and the partnership with Washington. But, honestly, the match went till the end, not because Australia played so well. They were good, but I think India made the bigger mistakes at crucial points of time, and you can't win a test match if you do that, or even save it.
First guy since Martin Crowe has scored 75 plus against Australia at MCG.
Truly, yeah.
Run out, 3 drop catches, 82. Sneeko. He's turned 23rd in this test match only. So, इस लड़के के लिए this week, I don't know what to say. He has shown great character with the bat. बहुत जबरदस्त था, but यही है. I don't know. Ravi Shastri was right that he'll come back a much better cricketer next time when India will tour Australia. But again, Vinayakk and Mihir on Jaiswal. What a weekend.
Truly. And Pratyush, I'll say something which I'm sure will irritate you, and that's why I'm 100% going to say it. Mumbai की खासियत ही है यार.
ये जो है ना, ये Mumbai spirit.
Whatever you say, this is the truth.
ना, एक Mumbai spirit कप्तान भी है. ठीक है.
But yeah, a great chance he missed for not just saving India face, but also he could have gotten his test century. So इसीलिए थोड़ा बुरा लगता है. First innings में for no fault of his own. Second innings में I'd say for all the fault of his own. Vinayakk, anything else that you would want to touch on?
Yeah, DRS.
Come on, man.
How technology cost India a draw in Melbourne.
You have to give it to Ravi Shastri. Yaar. Hindi commentary mein you're saying something else. The moment is switched to English broadcasting. The whole meme yaad aa gaya immediately कि जज्बात बदल दिए.
I honestly thought he hated it.
I honestly thought I hated it. But अगर जो हम देखें तो वो जो direction वाला भी दिखा रहे थे, that's also technology, right? So
Yeah, no, just for clarity, absolutely. So I'm just taking a pot shot at what Star was showing after the match. I just sent Mihir the screenshot. No nick, but out is what their big ticker tape was saying on the post-match. Yeah, and it was accompanied by Sunil Gavaskar's massive rant on optical illusions. We've heard some things on commentary.
Sanjay Manjrekar comparing it to Sydney 2008. मतलब यार कुछ भी मत बोल.
Oh, he did that. Oh, I didn't listen to that. But yeah, so the whole optical illusions thing, as a former engineer, I take serious offense to that. That is not an optical illusion, man. Come on. You're a cricketer, so speak cricket.
We can repeat Mr. Gavaskar's 3 famous words to himself now, I guess.
No, but honestly, I actually give credit to the third umpire. It couldn't have been easy to take that call. Sneeko was all over the place.
Yeah, it was a very brave call.
India, especially, right? You know the backlash that you're going to receive. The third umpire is Bangladeshi,
and
so
yeah,
that
exactly.
is there as well.
I was telling this to a friend कि अभी उसका assassination हो जाएगा. That guy should just remove all his social media presence. कहीं से भी.
No, yeah, it's easy. All seriousness, that was a brave call to make and the right decision.
It was the right decision.
Even if it wasn't the right decision, let's say even if it wasn't the right decision, that's not why India lost the test match. So that's there, and it was perfectly right. Simon Toffel had a brilliant explanation on the protocol, so that is worth a read. We have that explainer on the website. And yeah, even Akashdeep, they showed a good visual of that little red paint appearing on the bat. So even that wasn't... the Perth Rahul dismissal is fine. That is controversial, but let's not club things together and make nothing. Make a big deal out of nothing.
This is a non-controversy, so yeah, let's leave it at that, I guess.
Yeah. I think we need to address it also, right? I mean, given the amount of debate around it, there's no.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no doubt about that. Eventful test match, although I mean, it's been a great series. I'm just for the office internal bet's sake, I'm hoping that India wins so that I'll be one of the 2 people out of 20 to have a 2-2.
Shayak and Mihir, आप दोनों हो ना 2-2, then rest.
Exactly, yes. तो एक डिनर एटलीस्ट सॉर्ट आउट हो जाएगा. सो पर्सनल गेन्स सब में हम देखते हैं. There'll be 3 days more to that, I guess. That's about it. Whatever we had to discuss on agenda has been spoken about. It's been a great test. Like I said, like we all agree. In 3 days' time in Sydney, the New Year's test, and on a pitch that everyone's been saying will support spinners. So trust Rohit Sharma if he's the captain to go with all 5 fast bowlers and drop even maybe, I don't know, KL Rahul and sneak in an all-rounder. That'll be a perfect 11 for Sydney. We'll see how that goes. Thanks for listening. Wish you all a very happy new year. We'll be seeing you on the other side. Thanks.
You were listening to Express Sports by the Indian Express. This show was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar and produced by me, Shashank Bhargava. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.